came in requesting for me to do a little more stories on Partey's products here. Or should I can't call him Partey. Danny's products. Can't call him that name because that name does not belong to him. It actually belongs to somebody else. Going through the copyright records, we found out that that particular name, Partey, literally belongs to somebody else. A fellow over in the UK owns the right to that name. Hold on a minute. This is Mr. Blacks again. Hold on, I'll put him on right now. All right, we're back. Simple and plain. It's not hard to understand what I'm asking him, you know? Simple and plain. Do you have a copyright or do you don't have a copyright? Is that your name or is it not your name? It's very simple. Beating around the bush and making up excuses doesn't help at all, period. Went on there and just simply told him, do you have the registration number? All I hear is a bunch of laughing in the background. That's it. It's a yes or no. Do you have it? Yes or no. If I'm using Black Series Edition LLC and I'm claiming this to be my name and somebody digs it up and somebody else has it, it's yes or no. Do I own it? It's no laughing in between. Show me this. This is what I want to see from you today. Post it on your website. I want to see that registration number posted on your website showing me that you own the rights to that name right there. Because if you don't, you're getting sued. You're using somebody else's name without their permission. So, show me that registration number. It's just simple and plain. There's nothing to talk about on that. So, to call me up and say, oh, we got you in a live stream, big deal. You have me in a live stream. What's the problem there? Why should I be afraid? I'm in a live stream. I can back all my products up. My products aren't half paint at the end of the day. I mean, half water at the end of the day. You sat right there in your own demonstration and sat there and said you never said 4 colors. And anyone coming in can see 4 colors. So what are we all supposed to be, stupid at the end of the day? And you're the only one that's right. And then you say, oh, but no 4 containers. Well, how else are you shipping at the end of the day? Because we all know it's not coming in 1 container. And clearly anyone watching, looking at the website can see that all your your demonstrations is based off the first video, not the second one. You instruct your wife very carefully to paint this line down the middle of the screen because that's what you have on the chart. But in the second video, you don't even do this. And then you do multiple content passes over, back and forth across the screen, which clearly shows that the paint has so much water in it, it can't even marry to the surface well. These little bubbles pop up showing that the paint is not marrying well to the surface, and you count it as some kind of bubble leveling system. That's just stupid. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And then you can see the plastic container. When you pick it up, you can see literally how much water is in that paint. That's nothing but watercolors right there. That's why it took you so many passes to go back and forth, and you can still see the black bleeding through. Just a lot of things that don't make right on your site. You have screen paints up there with 2 gains on it. I don't even know how that's even possible. This is one or the other. I don't know how that works. And then you're saying that you can paint up to 120 inch. That's max, but you have 150 inch right there. You explain nothing about it on the site. You just have stuff on there, just on there for the sake of just having it on there. And then you guys want to get mad at me at the end of the day because I can back my products up. I sat there and told the caller when he was in there, simple and plain. I said, if my demonstrations are so fake, match or better them. And the first thing he said was, oh, ain't nobody got time for that. Who are you? Really? Well, I can do y'all demonstrations with no problem. What's the problem? See, that's what I'm talking about. When they're faced with hard facts, all they do is back up in the corner, complain, put their little emojis out, and that's all they do. I couldn't care less about you're doing one demonstration that's supposed to be my product. Keep in mind, I sold over 1,000 of the complete cinemas. If that was the case and the product didn't work, the internet would be peppered. It would be flooded with that paint not working. Why is it that anytime we sell a product, it works every place else, but the minute it hits Jamie's apartment, it don't work anymore. Doesn't function anymore, has problems. Just like the fellow sat there and said that Jamie is nothing more than a dirty, lying, deceitful person, and he will tear down anyone's product and make it look good. His look good. That's the reason why we're going to court already for small claims court for the batch number violation, because for some reason out of a 5-gallon container, everybody else is working fine. I have actually zero returns on my account. But for some reason, when Jamie gets it, doesn't work right. Something wrong with it. So your expert opinion is out the window on everything you do, both of y'all. You guys want people to believe in y'all at the end of the day that you guys are good standing citizens in home theater, and you're not. You have countless amount of strikes against you on every level you can possibly think of. And Parte, here's another one for you. Your name is not yours. It does belong to somebody else, and you have stolen the name. No, I'm sorry. I should never call you Partey. I do apologize for the fellow in London, England. This is his name. It belongs to him. Danny, you had no right taking the name. You don't come up anywhere. You don't come up anywhere in the database. Nowhere in the database. Nothing comes up under your name. The only one that comes up is this fellow right here. He has 19 entities that are actually in here about his product. You don't come up anywhere on here. So I'm going to pop on your website. I'm going to give you until tomorrow. It shouldn't be hard to get that document. That document is not hard to get. If you don't have the document, you can go here and you can get the information and you can basically post it to your site. I want to see your registration number. If you claim that you own the name to Partey and that I'm wrong, that's all you got to do, which you can't do because you don't own the name to it at all, period. Do you see what comes up when I hit the next button? That's the same fellow. That's his music. Same fellow. That's his music. Same fellow. That's his music. That belongs to him. That name is not yours. It says music. Has nothing to do with screen paint. And that's the end. Nothing to do with screen paint at all, period. Let me see if we got one more in there. There we go. All music. Has nothing to do with you. So when you fill out a form for your copyrights, they will ask you what kind of copyrights are you following. Are you following one for music? Are you following one for artwork? What describes what you're selling? Is it a name? What's involved? That's the type of work that comes in at the bottom. Ours comes in as an art material art. I think that's what it comes into under ours. We have two of these copyrights under our demonstrations here. I got one on the cube right there. There it is on the cube. This is our second copyright. There's my registration number right there under Crystal Edge. There's the title, Crystal Edge. So you don't have a copyright. You don't own the name. It's not yours. Stop calling your screen paints that product. I will be informing the Copyright Office. I will be filing a complaint. I also will be contacting this fellow in London, England, to let him know that you have stole his name and have been using his name since 2017. You have been using his name without his permission. You do not have a copyright. We did the research and there's nothing that comes up. I went through that entire database. I clicked over and over and over again. You don't come up anywhere in there. So that name is not yours. So he can take you to court and he can sue you for a lot of money. Now, there's another company we have to contact, that airline, because again, the symbol you have there is not yours either. It belongs to somebody else. They own the rights to it. So we'll be contacting them too. Anytime people in the history, if you're going to do something, you're going to brand your name. This is going to be your brand right here. Make sure you own your brand at the end of the day, that it's not owned by somebody else. Crow, your name is not yours. You have at the bottom of your Wix page, like a little copyright symbol. That shouldn't be there because you don't have a copyright for that name at all, period. It doesn't come up anywhere in the database, which is good for some people because anyone can take it and make it their own, and you can't touch it. Now, if you're going to sit there and say, well, I'll go and do Crystal, go ahead and knock yourself and do Crystal Edge, just register. You know what's going to come up? You're going to come back with a denial, saying you can't touch this because somebody else owns it. But no, Partey, yours is a complete lie. This belongs to somebody else. So all that time you've been talking about Partey's humble beginnings, Partey's products, and all the time you stole somebody else's name. You know what you guys steal anyway? You know, whatchamacallit steals images from Google to try to make his products look good. Freaking Partey steals people's names at the end of the day. Probably figured because he lived in London, England, he could probably take it. What are you fussing about? What it says, Partay advertising creativity. Let me just steal somebody's name. Well, how about this? How about you call it Dunkin' Donuts Partay, or McDonald's Partay, or Foot Locker Partay, since you're in the mood of stealing people's names at the end of the day. You can call it Sherman Williams Partay, Benjamin Moore Partay, Home Depot Partay, because you're in the business of stealing people's names. Oh, that's his name. Oh, and I got his Gmail here too on top of that. Isn't that interesting? Well, I gotta go. I gotta make some phone calls. I gotta go contact this guy. Partay, get yourself a lawyer. You're gonna need it. This guy's gonna sue the living cranberry sauce out of you. All right, I gotta go. Bye-bye.